picking up on what you said about Gen Z and college graduates and any possible disruptions in trying to find jobs. So Gen Z would be those born between 1997 and 2012, roughly ages 13 to 28. What are your thoughts on college enrollment? We'll talk a little bit about labor disruption in just a minute, and Jackson Hole, because I know that's a favorite of yours. But a lot of the individuals in this room today may have family members that fall squarely in that 13 to 28 category. What would you say about that?
I mean, again, we all see the data that it's just gotten tough for people just entering the labor force to be hired. But remember, the overall national aggregate hiring rate is at very, very low level. The layoff rate is also at a very, very low level. You're in a low fire, low hire economy. And it feels like companies are just, they've kind of stopped hiring or slowed down their hiring because they want to see how this all shakes out. We're having very important changes to economic policy in the United States, and companies and people are wondering, how's that going to work out? So I think that's part of it. The other thing I would add, though, is, there's a lot of good scholarship around technological innovation and inequality, if you will. And the sense of it is really that if schools and society give students graduating the skills and aptitudes they need to benefit from evolving technology, you can have declining inequality over time. And that's what the United States had for many, many years, up until about 1970, when U.S. educational attainment kind of plateaued and inequality takes off. So it's really down to having the skills. So kids who come out of school today with technological skills and can work with this new technology, they're probably going to be fine. They're going to be great. If you don't have those skills, though, you're increasingly left with less attractive employment options. So in a way, it's an educational issue.
Our society is our education system, and you spoke about inequality, particularly the digital divide, and thinking about where the United States really has paced among countries throughout the world. Particularly, that was a subject that you initiated at Jackson Hole back in August. What are your thoughts on how that is likely to really change the way we look at technology as a force for productivity and advancement?
I mean, technology has been raising incomes and productivity for really a couple hundred years since the Industrial Revolution. It's been an amazing thing for the quality of human life, and there's no reason why that has to change. In the United States was the first country to have gender-blind secondary education, and if you go back, you'll see that there's a great book on this, but it just basically the U.S. had fast technological innovation for a century, and also declining inequality because people were coming out and their educational the capabilities they took out of the educational system gave them the ability to benefit from evolving technology. So, and that's really the key, because technology, what it does is it makes us more productive. One summer I worked on a project that was building houses, and I basically had a shovel and I just dug most of the summer. And now that would be a Bobcat, which can do 100 times the work, no blisters, no water breaks. It's just much more productive. And you see housing production's gotten, at least it did get for a while, much more productive, not so much lately. But that I think is the story. And while U.S. educational attainment, college graduation rates and things like that leveled out, they're still going up. The rest of the world caught on and has really caught up in terms of educational attainment. And that really is the key. To your point, your educational system, your country is your educational system ultimately. It's the people that come out and what can they do, and a variety of other factors too, obviously. But I think that's a key element. I'm struck by this because this was a major factor at our recent conference, and we had a great conversation about it.
Well, tell us about the book. You gave me a homework assignment the other day, so I did download it, but I think everyone should follow that lead.
All right. It's a book called The Race Between Education and Technology. It's by Claudia Golden and Larry Katz, two Harvard economists, and it basically talks about the race between education and technology. So I'd recommend that to anybody. It was written in, I want to say, 2005, and they basically presented at Jackson Hole, they presented an update to the current day. The findings basically hold. It's very, I mean, I'm not a PhD economist. I read it 20 years ago.
But you said it still holds very much true today.
It does. And I think it's a good explanation for why the U.S. has had, rising inequality. This is their thesis, and I think it's they call it also skill bias technical change. So you need skills to benefit, but if you have those skills, then technology makes you more productive, and that's what we need. Incomes can only rise if productivity is increasing. We're sort of working as many hours as we can work now, so it really is down to how much output can you have in an hour, and that's productivity. So I would recommend that. I'm not getting any royalties for that, but by the way, Claudia Golden won the Nobel Prize for her work about 2 years ago. So I'm not the only one who thinks it was good work.
Chair Powell, let's